Well, let it fall, let it fall. Today I don't plan on going outside at all, no.
What's up, guys? Maybe I shouldn't be doing the intro today because my video is going to be super laggy. My name's Ridge. Below me or above me, to the side, left or right, somewhere in the other video window is Rob, and together we make the Crelectors. This is our Poke Podcast, where we discuss the hobby. Make sure that you guys follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like, follow, subscribe, comment. It really helps us out a lot. So because of coronavirus, we're just trying to be safe, and we're gonna start
Trying
doing
to stay
this
home.
more from home. So, welcome to my spare bedroom.
Welcome to my semi-office with all my pop figures and my Pokemon stuff.
And Rob is also a video gamer, so his video is gonna be looking a lot more crisp than mine. I'm just on my laptop. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just gonna be a blurry blob the whole time, but you'll still be able to hear me. I got a good mic, so that's a good bonus. So let's jump right into it. First segment today, we're gonna jump into it and do I Choose You. I Choose You is a segment where we compare topics of Pokemon, whether it's specific Pokemon, whole sets, card types, and you have to choose one of the options and explain why you prefer that one better. So, Rob and I have been discussing this a lot, and we talk about it a lot. So this
All
should
the
be an
time.
interesting discussion. And often I feel like I still don't really even know where I stand completely. But I chose one and I made a stance. So we're gonna be talking about the grading companies, PSA, BGS, SCG, and CGC. Um, so really, we'll probably only be talking about two: the one that I choose and the one that Rob chooses.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with PSA. Uh, Several reasons. The big ones being longevity. Uh, they've been around for a very long time. They've established themselves in the hobby, and they're well respected. Another would be value return. You definitely get your money's worth when you send it away, and get it back due to the respect that it has in the hobby. The PSA 10s typically go for usually the highest amount of money when it comes to cards. I think that BGS gold slabs are starting to make a run at that. But another reason why I would choose PSA, I'd have to say, is security. If you look at the PSA slab on the front and the back, they have an on and off reflective material with the PSA symbol in it. That's very, very hard to counterfeit. On the back, they also typically have a scan code where you can use your camera to just scan it, and that'll pull up all of the information on the card. I think that's super helpful. They also have a barcode as well as number code on the front, and I appreciate the iconic red border that is very easily recognizable. And then last, I'd just like to say when it comes to grading, you really want to buy the card and not necessarily the slab. And if I were to rate these guys and put them in order, I'd look at BGS as a second solid to PSA. They're really making a move at it. And then I put CGC right behind them, and then SGC next.
So I don't know too much about SGC. I know it's more of like sports cards, right? Like they
Yes, and
primarily do sports cards.
yeah, that's a big thing. Is that I think the company that you're gonna pick, that's a definitely a pro for them. Is that they're comic book based? I would say.
Spoiler.
Sorry.
So I picked CGC. So Ridge has been in the graded card game longer than I have, so he has a tight knit love for PSA. But I'm gonna go with CGC for numerous amount of reasons. So I talked about it last week. CGC is their turnaround time is super super quick. I believe they do like a mixture of digital and a Pokemon expert kind of grades the cards as well on top of the like computer grading. And they also offer a very, very good slab. Their slab is very clear. Their label is blue. It's fairly different from everything else. But they also offer gold labels too now. So you can get a pristine and then you can get a perfect as well. And then they also offer subgrades, which I personally like, and PSA does not do that. And when I get my cards back, I like to know that I can see where the card went wrong. So if I send it in and I'm thinking it gets a 10, and then I get it back and it's a 9.5 or a 9 on PSA, I'm just kind of out of luck. But if I'm on CGC or even BGS, I get that, corners a 10, edges 10, and then centering's a 9.5 or a 9. So I do like that. It gives me peace of mind too about the card. And then I can actually like pinpoint on the card and like see where it went wrong and really dial in because of what they said. And then the pristine and perfects are just good chase stuff. They're just, like the pull cards in most sets. Like you just want to pull that perfect or the pristine or even the BGS gold label and the black label. That one's really cool too. It just adds another layer to grading and like kind of chasing that gold label, which again PSA doesn't offer. And then, like I said in the beginning, CGC is so quick; they can get 2 to 3 submissions done before PSA gets one done at the very moment. Like PSA is so behind, and I think that's going to be the downfall ish. They're never going to go totally away, but their popularity is going to creep down because you're going to see so many CGC labels, so many CGC slabs, and less PSA slabs coming in the next couple months. So
I know that we're trying to lower the time on this. I do think that the next 2 segments we're going to do we'll be able to breeze through. So are you cool if we debate this a little bit, if we go back and forth on just points?
Yeah.
So for me, I think that the fact that you can't get your PSA submissions back so quick would kind of counter that last point that you just made. There are so many people submitting PSA cards for submission that you literally can't get cards back for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the fact that CGC can turn around it so quick, get a quick turnaround so much, and they only have 20 employees. They're a very small company. They're obviously not that busy grading cards if they can flip it that quick compared to PSA, who's a huge company and can't get you your card back for 6 months. That means that a lot of people are submitting that. So I don't think that you'll necessarily see a huge wave of CGC over PSA because people are constantly getting their PSA submissions returned. So it takes 6 months to get them back, but you also got to understand people have been sending a lot of cards away to get graded for a good amount of time now. So they'll constantly be getting PSA cards back, and a lot of them.
Yeah, but the more they get, the more backed up they get, and then the more time you have to spend waiting for those cards to get back. CGC is going to get to that point where they are getting a lot of people. Their turnaround times have already gone up. The bulk time is usually 45 days. It went to 60 days now. So they are getting a lot of, volume in because of PSA not being able to turn around their product, and PSA is losing product too. I've seen a lot of things where PSA is losing people's cards. But I think that's, again, I think that's for every grading service too. You can't really.
Yeah, I don't think that's PSA. Like
I've
PSA
seen a lot of
pick
people
up
specifically
cards.
pick on PSA though. That's the only thing. And I haven't done it myself. Like I haven't experienced it myself, so I don't know. But that's what I've seen too.
Yeah, that's a tough one to put on PSA. I enjoy this conversation a lot, and it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
And even like I did a good amount of research on all 4 of these companies. And I did write down a lot of pros for CGC, like a lot of pros versus cons. So I'm not necessarily hating on CGC. I just prefer PSA more.
So I think we should actually. I don't think, now that I think about it, PSA CGC is not a good comparison because they don't even offer subgrades. The CGC to BGS comparison would probably be better, because
And
they
in
offer
that,
the same type of, you know, car. They offer the same type of grading with subgrades and everything.
yes. So if we go to that conversation, I definitely take BGS.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, 100%.
they're
I
more
think
expensive,
that
aren't they?
also have screenshots of my computer's so slow. I don't even want to get the windows I have up out of here. It's probably gonna break down in the middle of this, so if my screen goes black, I'm sorry. Uh, I looked up prices for all of them. I think they're like $15 a card when you get into like,
Oh, bulk.
there's a lot of different price ranges for everything.
What's their bulk
Under
price? 15.
Underestimated value for this many cards. Every company sets it up differently.
Hmm.
A bulk price for what? I can quickly do it if you just keep talking. So just keep talking. I'll look it up.
Yeah, so BGS, I think I love their black and gold labels. I don't know the turnaround time for BGS. Like I'm not too intertwined with BGS. I see it a lot. I personally do like their labels, but I just think CGC has a better opportunity to take a spot in the top two, top three of the grading
So
services.
bulk, 100 plus cards,
100, damn.
standard. Well,
Didn't
they have 100 plus. They have 51 to 99, and they have
Oh,
1 to 50. So
okay,
what do you
yeah.
want the price for
50,
each?
50 plus.
So 1 to 50. 1 to 50 is $15 a card.
Mm-hmm.
That's with no subgrade. With the
With no
subgrade, it's
subgrades,
20. Yep, it's
that's
25.
that's double
And
CGC.
and then 51 to 99 cards, it's $20 a card for the subgrades, 12 for not. 100 and also I would definitely double check that, Rob, because when I looked up CGC, it's +5 for a subgrade.
Yeah, well,
You have to pay
I just
$5.
did the whole submission. Submission for
So
50 plus is 750 plus the $5 is 1250 with
per
subgrades.
but
Or
it per card, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, so 750 plus 5 is
yeah.
like 1250, right?
And then you just said 1250. It's an additional $7 or something, right? You just
Yep.
said
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is.
per
And then
card.
100 plus cards, if you're getting subgrades on 100 plus, that's what I would call a bulk order.
Mm-hmm.
It's $15 a card. Uh,
Damn. So yeah, they're pretty.
yeah.
They're on the
Yeah, so
expensive
they
end.
have their prices are definitely more. And that is definitely a positive for CGC.
Mm-hmm.
You're right in that essence, but the reason why I would put BGS over CGC, I think that the market always decides. Like I like to look at that, like in
Mm-hmm.
the gold labels on the BGS gold labels, they sell and they sell for a lot, and they sell for more than a PSA 10.
Are you talking
So
about the
that's
black labels?
interesting to me. Yeah. All right, so guys, we just had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we're back and we're just still talking about grading and debating a little bit about which companies have pros and cons and what those are as far as the markets go. And we were just talking about black labels for BGS, uh, and the fact that they just sell for a lot more money. And I think that that is interesting. And another thing that I found interesting, and it's funny how these things can be a pro or a con. Like, I think that Rob has made this case in the past for CGC that they're a lot tougher grading wise. So when researched each, I typed in one Pokemon card that's popular and big right now, and I was just curious, like what those prices were sold for each one and what the listings were looking like. So I looked up the Charizard Secret Rare VMAX, and I looked it up for PSA, SGC, Beckett, and CGC. For SGC, I couldn't find one that was listed, and I couldn't find one that was sold. For BGS, I found a bunch that were sold recently. It looked like it had a healthy population. The Black Label sold for $6,500 on January 4th. And there were plenty of listings for BGS. PSA, there were also plenty listed. A good amount sold recently. One sold for $899 on January 8th. And CGC, there was also a good amount listed. There were 10 up with 9.5. It was a 10 was the grade it got, 9.5 corners, and the rest were 10 grades. And it got 8, it was asking for $899. And then other than that, I couldn't even find one sold that was a 10. I only found a 9.5 that was sold for $440. So that's when I get into it, is like, it's funny how these things that could be considered pros can also be cons.
Yeah.
When we talk about sending a card away, yeah, I can get it back really quick, but what good is that if it's wicked hard to get a 10 and then their next best thing, 9.5, sells for $440 when you know that a 9 in a PSA is going to sell for more and a lower grade BGS is going to sell for more? That's a big drop off right there, and it's a 9.5, and I couldn't even find any 10s that sold, and the 10 that was up for $899. So it's the same as a PSA, and then the BGS 10 sold for $6,500. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, we're talking about $900 for the 10s for the other companies, and this is selling for $6,500. What? That's crazy.
So yes, but if you're going to wait that long, the Pokemon world right now, especially the card world, is so volatile, and especially with the prices of cards. So if you wait the 9 months for that potential Black Label or potential high grade with those other companies, then the card dips down $3,000. Like, if that Black Label sells for $3,000 at that point, I mean, you got to pick and choose whether you want to get the card fast, graded, and sold, or if you want to kind of go the luxury route and go the 6 to 9 months and hope that your card holds value while it's getting graded.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
again, it depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
But I think that a big thing too that I'm not all in on CGC for this reason yet, is I don't know if people are gonna buy that card and those price drop offs. Like, if it's really hard to get a 10, even if I get a 9.5 back really quickly on this specific card. Say I bought it instead of ripping it and coming across and gambling and got lucky, which is what smart investors are doing. You're going and buying a card and then sending it to get graded and then flipping it when it comes back. I bought the card for $250. Now I spend shipping costs and everything. I get it back, and then maybe I'll sell it for $440 at a 9.5. It's like, there are a lot of risks that come into that, because that's also the second best grade. Like, what if it came back as a 9 CGC? Like, I just thought that it was interesting that I couldn't find any that sold as a 10 CGC.
Yeah. I think CGC is harder to get a 10 on too.
And I think that that's good and bad. Like, if I think that, like, I rather have a 9.5, I rather have a 10 PSA than a 9.5 CGC, right? So then for me, I would rather wait for it. But I like to say neutral, and like I said when we first started this segment, I'm constantly going back and forth in my head as well. And when I did research this, I did write down a lot of negatives for PSA. As far as, like, sending your cards in for PSA is really hard right now. They've taken down a lot of the packages, if you will, down. Like, you can't even send in cards certain ways. That's a big thing. Like, in order to get a $10 rate on a card, you have to be a member, and that membership costs $50 a year. So then we also get into that. Like you could buy the membership. Okay, there's $50. Then you gotta calculate that into your costs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're allowed to send a card away for $10 to PSA. That also that's a solid price for a card, $10, and you're getting the premium slab. So I think that it's interesting that a lot of the companies make the fact that they have a clear slab a pro for them. Like they all have clear slabs. We can all see the cards.
Nah,
It's like
this is like cloudy though. It's like
no
frosted.
way.
Yes, it
You
is.
think
It's like
it's
frosted.
cloudy?
Yeah, look around it. It's like frosted. That's what they're talking about. The CGC is just completely clear, and it just
Oh, the whole
feels.
thing is clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yeah. See, for me, I can see the card. It's clear
But
where the card is. I
another
don't need to
thing,
see the negative space around the card.
another thing with me is I have this PSA slab, and I have this one as well, and I never want to get rid of this card. But I don't want a bunch of PSAs and CGCs. I just want one slab, and that's the hardest decision I've had to make so far. Because we did a submission with PSA, and now we did a submission with CGC. I'm gonna have, 15 PSA cards and 10 CGC cards. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I want to keep one slab.
Consistent
Yeah.
as far as your collection goes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. See, me, I don't really mind. I'm down to collect some BGS, some PSA, and some CGC.
I want to collect all
And
the same. I don't know why.
yeah, no, that makes sense. That's a collector's thing. Most collectors want to get into a specific
Mhm.
one of a kind type thing. So that is a huge thing. So I think that you make a lot of good points with CGC. I like that they're comic book based,
Yep.
and not really sports based. I think that's a big pro. Um, I wrote a lot of stuff down, but I don't want to spend too much time. Just turn around their innovation. I appreciate the subgrades. They got a bunch of different labels. There are 8 different colors that you can get. Price. And then for me it was just the market. Is the market going to support CGC? I don't think that we've necessarily seen anything jump out that says the market has completely accepted and loved CGC. Like, I think that the market is based around PSA, and I really feel BGS putting pressure on it because when I was looking through these sold listings and the listings, the prices and the amount of listings for BGS, I'm sorry, was very interesting. Um, but I'm okay with wrapping it up there. I think that we've addressed a lot of good points. Anything else you wanted to add to that, Rob?
One other thing that CGC does is that I don't think any of them else do is they add pedigrees, which are cool. In a sense, I mean, it's just another thing that they offer. Like, the people who pulled some cards from Logan Paul's opening, like, they were able to put Logan Paul's big opening on the back of it, it's like an autograph pretty much on the back of the CGC label, which is cool. And then also forgot to note that CGC, they grade a lot of different cards. So like, I know PSA does like OC and miscuts and stuff, but I think CGC, like, they really do like push the boundaries with what they grade in terms of miscuts, off centers, factory errors, all those things. I think they like are very extensive with what they allow to be graded, which is cool.
Yeah, I agree. I truly am. I'm like in CGC's corner. I'm rooting for them. I hope they win. I think that they've shown a lot of good things, and in the future they can definitely become a bigger player than they've established already.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of waiting on those key signs for me to buy in completely. Like you said, we already sent some away, so I'm gonna have some CGC cards. I have no problem with that. I'm slightly worried about if it's gonna be harder to sell them because they're CGC.
Nah, you sent in a Pikachu from Cosmic Eclipse. I think will sell in 2 days.
I really think that it depends on the grade that it gets back, and we'll follow up on that in a future episode.
We'll do a whole haul video and everything.
Yeah. Let's move on. Our next segment is Pokevesting advice. Last week I talked higher graded promos, and this week I'm gonna be Talking something real simple, specific, and I'll be quick on this. It's a specific card, Rayquaza's Amazing Rare from Vivid Voltage. I personally bought one, and that's usually what I do when I'm uh doing the Pokevesting advice on here. Just asking myself if I had a bunch of extra cash or what are some of my most recent pickups, and so I got that in raw the other day. I think that it's at a solid price raw. You can find it $20 to $25 range. Isn't too bad. You could even find it potentially lower in the 18 range. I think that it's moved on past that. I see it spiking up in the near future. Um, so raw versus graded, you can't really go wrong. And I'm gonna grab mine and try and grade them. For the PSA 10, it's going 360. For me, that's like an interesting price range. I think when you break 500 and when you're lower than 200, it kind of separates. I think that those are real big cards once they break 500 at PSA 10, like things that people are actively searching for and trying to find at a good price and grade and flip. And then under 200, a little less, but still a solid card. So the fact that it's at 360, I think it's moving up and it's going to get into that $500 range.
I think
After
it will
it
too.
breaks that, who knows where it goes. But it's a legendary, well-known Pokemon, and also I think the biggest key, like I've been talking about recently, what are those parameters for where we want to invest? It definitely has a big one. This was a low pull rate. So yes, you get a lot of amazing rares, and what is it? Rob knows the numbers better. It's a guaranteed two
Two
out of an
two each
ETB
booster box. Yep. No, he's booster
booster
box.
booster box.
Yep.
Okay, so out of 36 packs, you get two. So that's not even that crazy, but it's one of a guaranteed set. But the Rayquaza is known to be the harder one to get.
I've pulled every
And
single
from
one besides the Rayquaza, and I've opened up 3 booster boxes.
Exactly. So there you go. It's a tough one to get your hands on. A low pull rate. Uh, oh, and the fact that it's an amazing rare.
Yep.
It's a new type of card. So those are checking off the parameters that I often talk about, and it's just a really sick card. What about you, Rob?
So, like you said before, you do buy the cards that you tell us or tell them to buy during our Poke Vesting section. So, I actually got the Sword and Shield Zacian and Zamazenta box. I
Sick.
think, what price did we say was a good price? 125, 130 around there.
No. Yes.
For like resale, or that's even, I got mine for 120, and that's pretty
Perfect.
much retail plus shipping at that point. So that was, I got a steal on that. Always check Facebook Marketplace for steals. A lot of local people and a lot of people who put stuff on Marketplace just want quick sells. They want it to be as easy as possible. So definitely try to negotiate and all those things on Facebook Marketplace. So the card that I am suggesting for Pokevest today is the CP Charizard, the Rainbow Rare, and the Shiny V too, because Champion's Path is still very popular, but there's just so much of it now because the third wave has come, and everyone was fighting everyone to find CP product, and now that it's really ready available and coming in stores and it's always stocked, a lot of people are still interested and always finding them for retail and they're hyped, but that means a lot of people are opening these boxes because they're not as desirable now. So a lot more people are opening. Then, a lot more Rainbow Rares and Shiny Vs are going to be pulled. And that's bringing the cost of the card, especially graded and raw, down. So now the Rainbow Rare, when it came out, when it was first released with CP, it was going around, $1,000 raw. Dropped down to 800 around there. Kept dropping. Now it's around 200 to 250 raw. And then same thing with the Shiny V. I don't have that in my notes, but I know it's dropping. I've seen a lot of prices similar to the Rainbow Rare. And then the PSA 10s went from 1250 to 1500 down to 650 was most recent sale. So they are still trending downwards, and I tell you guys to keep a lookout in your local stores. And if you were getting a lot of product in, start to notice when there's not product there, because that's when they're slowing down their third wave, and that's when they're slowing down, the production. So once you start seeing less product where you see a lot of product, then that's when you have to realize, like, oh, maybe I should go check eBay and check the prices of this, because it's dipping down pretty hard. And that card is a beautiful card. It's a great card to hold long term. And then it's a great card to pair up with your Shining Fates, Shiny Charizard too. So keep a lookout for the Rainbow Rare and the Shiny V. And if you can get it around 200, 250 raw, that's a good price in my opinion. And then if you can't find it, just keep a lookout. The Facebook Marketplace too is a great place for those types of cards, because a lot of people are pulling those, and a lot of local people are probably have a bunch of them to sell. So
All right, move on to our last segment. Pokemon hunting in the wild. So referring to the video game. Here we're just going to talk about the different platforms that we use to find cards that we want and how to know the prices to buy them at. So I think that you can build off of that, actually. Why don't you go first, because you were kind of just talking about that.
Yep. So a lot of the cards and a lot of packs and a lot of the things I've bought are local, and they're from Facebook Marketplace. Now, the reason why Facebook Marketplace is so good is it's, local is the best because there's no fees. You don't have to ship it. You see the card before you buy it physically. You get handed the card, you look at it, you say you want the card, you hand them the money. And then also, the people that you're buying from could be local collectors or investors or anything like that, and it could build relationships. I've built, a couple of relationships with a bunch of people that I've sold cards to and bought cards from. So Facebook Marketplace is the first thing I do when I want to buy, sell, collect, or anything, just because everyone is on there. And they do offer shipping as well on Facebook Marketplace. So I don't know if a lot of people know that. And then there's also buyer ratings too. So you can check their buyer rating, see how they're rated, and then go with shipping either through PayPal, either through Facebook. You can do Venmo if you feel comfortable. But Facebook Marketplace has a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's a hidden gem for sure. If I was not to pick what I'm choosing, I think that's what I would have chose as well. And I think that overarching theme to this is that neither of us is choosing eBay. And I don't think that it's necessarily that I don't buy cards there. I'm starting to prefer these other places because that's basically what you check and compare what we're talking about to. You look at eBay, what is it selling on eBay? That's kind of like the top that it's going to sell for, the most that you're going to be able to get rid of that card for. So let me try and find it cheaper on these platforms like Facebook Marketplace and TCG Player, which is the one that I chose. And it's exactly that. You can't beat the prices. It usually really establishes the true market price of the cards, which I very much appreciate. And because when you look at eBay and compare it to the prices on TCG, typically the eBay prices people are asking for are inflated, and I think that's for several reasons. I think that a lot of people are on eBay, which can be a good thing, but not necessarily super hardcore Pokemon enthusiasts. I think it's a lot more of just the people that are hopping in and maybe not going 100 at it. I think there are a lot more people that have been in for a while and are going 100 at it that you can find on TCG Player. And because of that, not necessarily everyone that's selling on eBay understands what the true market value of a card is. And on top of that, eBay charges more fees, so that might be rolled into the price.
Yep.
and on the opposite side, why I like TCG Player, their fees, they do charge fees, but they are lower, and I think that that's a huge, great pro for Rob's choice that they don't charge fees. I think that that's awesome
Mhm.
on Facebook Marketplace. But to get back to TCG Player, you do have to look a little harder. It is tough because there aren't um many photos on there with
Yeah.
the listings, so that can be a challenge, but often you can find a lot of great cards for cheap there. And for me, it's also an asset for the price guide. There's an actual price guide that you guys can go and check out, and I think that that's like one of the illegal things that I think should be like illegal that you know about, that you know, that TikTok trend right now. What's something you know that you feel should be illegal that you know? I
Yeah.
think that it's that price guide on TCG Player. It's just a helpful tool, you know. You can go and search through the history of Pokemon cards, and it's just really well laid out. You can toggle through on a little bar that you click, and it has all of the sets right there.
Mhm.
So let me go check out base set, and then I just scroll up and I can check out Darkness Ablaze. And then you can also sort from top to bottom the highest valued cards in that set, and it gives you an actual market price.
Yep.
So all of those things I think is just really crucial, and that's why I choose to use TCG Player, and not necessarily just to find steals, but also just to help me price my cards, and maybe just get a price that I want to look for on Facebook Marketplace.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that both are really good and low key and underrated.
Mhm. Yeah, I like TCG Player for references, or for
Me too.
referencing, for
Mm-hmm.
prices. It
Yep.
is a good place. It has everything. It's pretty easy to navigate too, like you
Yep.
said. But my biggest downfall with TCG is they lack a lot of pictures. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so if you're buying a card, you have to like message the person for more pictures, or just buy the card straight up because it's at a good price, because they're listing it just quickly. They don't put any pictures. They don't put they lack a description. They just throw it up and want to sell it, and then you just take the gamble sometimes with some of the cards, and you don't know the condition until you get it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which could be
I
good
agree.
because you could get a steal, or or it could arrive in just a top loader, not a penny sleeve, and you have a scratched up hollow card. It it's
Yeah,
it's
100%.
it's a it depending on the card, it's a good risk. Just because a lot of people aren't going to do that. But you will have sometimes a person not knowing how to ship cards, just willy nilly, just shipping out cards to you, and they don't know how to protect them.
Yeah, definitely. I try to use the little check boxes on the side, and you can check
Mhm.
one that chooses listings with photos.
Yep.
So if I'm looking for more of my GXs, my secret rares, my VMAXs, I'll do listings with photos. If I'm looking for trainer cards that I can get four of and flip four for more of a price, and I can buy them low individually, then it doesn't really matter to me as long as they're near mint.
Yep.
Like I can go and find maybe something like Boss's Order cheaper on TCG Player and flip it somewhere else
So
for a little
that's
bit
what's
more as for.
that's what's good about TCG Player too, is it's readily available. It's easy to navigate. You can buy stuff for your competitive play, like decks and stuff. If you're looking for PSA 10 every single time, TCG may not be the option, just because you are taking a slight risk every single time, because some may lack pictures, and the people working on there, you have to reach out to them for them to send you more pictures and all these things. So
Yeah,
if you want to
definitely.
build a deck and you want to build a collection, and you just want binder cards and you want to fill a set, 100% buy everything on TCG. If your plan is to grade and get those tens, be thorough on there, or take a different route and maybe go with Facebook Marketplace, local people. You don't have to worry about shipping damages. You just go there and see it in person before you buy it.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, I think that that's going to do it for today.
Yep.
Thank you guys for checking it out. We've continued to get a lot of positive feedback and support, people
Ton.
reaching out. Just it will help us a lot to continue to do this and help out our algorithm to get out to people outside of our small community. If you guys were to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like the video, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And that's going to do it for today, guys. We'll catch you next time. Peace.